Oh, there we go. All right. I think we're all live. Can you verify we're live on the site? All right, cool. I think we are good to go. All right, guys, I'm super excited. I'm actually sitting at a hotel. I flew all of my leadership team into Columbus this week to work on a big project. But I wanted to step out and do our lovely student spotlight. I have a big one today, Adam. Um, Adam attended the 2-day workshop and took nothing but massive action. I have, sorry about that. I got text coming in on a building I'm making an offer on. Adam came to the 2-day workshop, joined the small group, and has done nothing but take massive action. I haven't seen as many people take the level of action that he has. So, for those of you guys in the community that don't know about our programs, we have a few programs. We start with a 4-week virtual training where we show you guys all of the marketing systems, data management, how we reverse engineer all of our marketing channels. It goes into a week where then we go over all of our sales script processes. And week 4 is about how we restructured all of our dispo infrastructure. From there, we go into a 2-day workshop, which is where we now say, let's throw fuel on the fire and learn how to onboard, train, and manage out your staff. Everything from the onboarding process, one-on-ones, call audits, etc. And if you're a one-man show, you need it more than ever because we need to make sure that you have the right tools and resources and you know how to do it first before you even bring on a team. And then from there, we have a 6-month program where we hold your hand and do it with you through the whole way. And that is the program that Adam had recently joined about 6 weeks ago. So, Crizel, do you want to go ahead and bring in Adam? Hey there, can you
Hey,
hear me?
yep, I can hear you. How's it going?
Cool. How's it going?
Good, 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 good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to kickstart. Well, thank you for joining. And before we even start, going into some questions and all that, do you want to give a little bit of background of what market you're in, how long you've been doing this, what your deal flow looks like, and we'll get into a little bit about what did it look like for you maybe 6 to 12 months ago versus what you're doing now. So, do you want to give a quick rundown of your bio essentially?
Yep. Yeah, I'm in the Phoenix market, not virtual, so just all in Phoenix, Maricopa County, and been wholesaling for 3.5 years now. And the deal flow has been anywhere from 2 to 4 deals a month, but not very consistent. It could be a few months low, few big months. And so that's kind of the average where I was sitting at past 6, 12 months. Um, Actually did a little bit better in 2021 than 2022 when the market shifted. And then earlier this year, um, pretty unorganized with a lot of my stuff. Kept seeing stuff from you guys about systems, processes, which I had a few, but honestly, I didn't really have much at all. And saw the 2-day workshop
So, just
immediately.
to stop there real quick. So, you were doing, what'd you say, 3 to 5 deals on average?
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Okay. 2 to 4 deals. And you said you had not as many systems. So, what kind of marketing were you doing before you ever joined the programs? I'm just curious on where you were at with
Mainly,
that.
our marketing channels were SMS and reaching out to agents. Those were our two main ones. I'd say majority of uh, our deals were SMS.
Okay, cool. And then walk me through what that looks like today now, and like what steps have you recently taken, and what steps are you looking to take to continue to diversify that?
So the steps that we've taken are we've added paid per lead. So added that marketing channel to it, um, ramping up SMS. So kind of doubling down on that a little bit, just because it has been working for so long,
Yep.
and I kind of plateaued a little bit. And after working with John and kind of breaking down the numbers of, hey, you're only going to get X amount of deals because you're sending X amount of text. Like
Yeah.
if we're going to update or up that, um, we're going to have to increase um, the volume going out. And so doing that and about to start implementing cold calling, which I've done in the past, but not very systematized. And so about to start that as well in our next step.
Nice. And then have you, where are you at with your team? Um, I guess where were you like a year ago and where are you wanting to go with it right now?
So a year ago, I was a one-man show, basically doing everything from uh, acquisitions, dispo, transaction coordinator.
So you
Recently,
had no life.
oh yeah, I was everything. And what happened with that is, as the deals come in, working on the dispo side, the acquisition slows down a little bit, and so it's definitely juggling a lot of things at once. Um, and now we have one full-time acquisition manager, which has been super helpful with taking my stuff or my time. I'm still doing acquisitions, but I can step away a little bit, work on the TC side of things, work on the dispo, um, especially if a deal is not selling as fast, can work that more rather than having our acquisition side just stop.
Yeah. Have you thought about hiring a like virtual assistant for the dispo side then?
Yep. So working with John, we're actually doing that right now. I had a call right before this, getting that set up for an executive assistant.
Awesome. Yeah, if I were you, I would try to recruit the like list builder and prospector all day. I mean,
Yep, that's what we're doing.
the list build. I mean, you can always start the same person maybe doing both. And then I think that that person, if you want them to also be really good at calling people and doing dispo for you, you're looking at more of like a $9 to $10 an hour person. But if you're just doing the list building and you're doing that, which I don't recommend, you can go cheaper. But ultimately, yeah, I think that you're in a spot right now. If you can get a really sophisticated virtual person instead of going cheaper, that'll almost, I mean, our guy could literally, he's taking over dispo as like almost a dispo manager soon. And he is 10 or $11 an hour. I think we just gave him a raise.
Wow.
Um, so walk me through like when you were at the 2-day workshop, what made you take the leap? Like what about the 2-day was like, yes, this is what I need. Because I think a lot of people who haven't been to the 2-day, they're watching this. What about the 2-day, like especially coming in as a lean mean show, you're wearing a lot of hats. Like walk me through that decision process.
Yeah, from the 2 day, the main thing I got was how important systems are. After hiring one acquisition manager, culture, and seeing how organized you guys were and how detailed you guys tracked every single uh, key or KPI, which to me was super important because I wasn't really tracking my marketing budget. I did have a scorecard that I started to implement, but it wasn't very. I couldn't really read it too well. I was putting the numbers in, but what does that really mean? And
Yeah.
after going through the 2 day, seeing exactly your complete onboarding process, which I actually implemented that entire onboarding process. Um, Going through the onboarding process, seeing your guys' sales scripts, sales um, team, and seeing the way you guys dispo, it was just a no-brainer for me to take that next step um, into the small group, just because I felt like I was kind of plateauing a little bit. Um,
Yep.
and working with John, I actually was sitting next to him the entire 2 day. He kind of walked me through a lot of this stuff and really helping. It really opened my eyes to see what I was missing in my own business.
Yeah. How is the acquisition manager doing?
He's doing really good. He got um, a deal last week and another one 2 weeks ago. So he's doing very good. He actually went through the sales performance pod yesterday, and we've been in the sales pod every Tuesday, which has been awesome for him to definitely see. And he's told me this too. Being in the sales pod, you get to see people from all around the country do the same
Yeah.
sales system. And so people tweak it a little bit to their style, but it's all the same format, it's all the same style. And Jared's been awesome breaking those down. My acquisition manager has really learned a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah. And for those of you guys watching this that don't know, in our small group we do what we call sales pods, and we basically build mini pods not for just you guys but also your sales team if you have a team. If you're a one-man show watching this, it's in my personal opinion it's imperative that you have something like a sales pod in your life, because if you don't have anyone coaching your calls, you have no idea if you're falling off track or not. And I think especially as a one man show, like we need to make sure that we stay on every opportunity that we possibly can. And so we'll take sellers recorded calls on those from their teams, and we coach them up and do call audits for their teams for them. And the nice thing about having other companies in those pods is sometimes they ask questions or go through something that either you've done or you don't know, and you're learning something new by not being the only person getting the call audit done. So are you still on the phones doing acquisitions then with him, I assume?
Yeah, so I would say half acquisition, half the rest of it now. It kind of took me a second to kind of step back and kind of let him take more of the qualified leads, because at first, when I first hired him, it was him kind of getting the leads to a point and I would take over. And since coming to the 2 day workshop, joining small group, and having him in all of the sales pods, now I'm giving him the opportunity to go through um, the entire sales process, and me stepping back and having him just do the entire thing. Um, which that's really been the biggest difference I've seen is I don't have to be the one closing everything anymore. He's trained enough. He's um, like I said, he got 2 deals in the past 3 weeks. It takes a lot of pressure off me to not having to close everything now.
Yeah. Um, well, that's awesome, man. I actually was just catching up with him this morning, and he was like, I don't have a student that takes as much action as Adam. Like, it sounded like within 1 week of joining, like you knocked out 6 different things within 5 days.
Yep.
And so kudos to the taking action. I know sometimes, I'm sure someone watching this, we all go through it. We get analysis by paralysis and we question ourselves and what should we go spend money on, etc. So one thing I've personally always done, and I still do this today, I have 7 mentors myself today. And at the end of the day, like every stage of growth, even me, I'm at a stage where I don't know what I don't know in the next stage in some of my companies. And I don't waste time personally. I'm
Yep.
just like, whenever I don't know something now, I've just learned the value of picking up a call and be like, what do you want to do this for me so that I don't have to recreate the wheel? And I think not only that, but it's all about being in a community too, where everyone's kind of in the same spot so that we can bounce each other off of ideas, ask questions, get feedback in pods, etc. Because maybe somebody else in the community is doing something that, for example, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, I was teaching an ops call, and one of our students tested a new mailer that crushed it for him.
Hmm.
And so we jumped off the thing. He gave me all the details. I went and tested it, and then he presented in the group a few weeks later in a meeting. And so I think ultimately those types of things add tons of value outside of just the fact that you're getting almost a franchise in a box, right? Like we're giving you all the onboardings,
Yes.
trainings,
Yep.
resources. I always tell people, like when they're like, "What is in the small group?" I go, "I don't know how else to describe this other than it's like a franchise in a box. Every
Hmm.
one of your onboardings is there, your HR docs, your trackers, everything is there for you." Um, so what is the next step? Like, what's the goal for you? Like, what is, if you could visualize, 12 to 18 months out, what's that look like right now?
So 12 to 18 months out, I see. So we have one acquisition manager getting another acquisition manager and then also a follow up specialist. I think that's super important. To once we get enough leads in there, they're following up. I would also like to get an office. Currently, we're in Phoenix. We're all working from home. But after seeing your guys' culture and how close you guys were, and I kind of still notice it now too with my acquisition manager, we're on the phone with each other all the time throughout the day. And yeah, there's something different locking up a deal in person or when you're with each other and stuff. So I would also like to get an office as well, just to kind of build that culture like you guys have done.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people talk about, should we do virtual office? Look, guys, we have students that they're all virtual or they're all in the office. We're a combination of both. We like to keep our key decision makers in the office. So anyone that's bringing in revenue to the company, and like my closers, my two senior fault specialists, my ops coordinator, which I will say, I think a good TC can be found overseas. Now mine every once in a while is running errands, maybe running out to a property to put a lockbox on if we need it, but you can always have a runner do all that. I really do think you can find similar talent that I have for only 1,100 to 1,300 a month overseas. So it just depends on your business model. I have a lot of rentals, so I prefer someone be in house just so I'm not running around doing all that stuff. Um, and and then from there, I mean, that's really all I have in the office other than my other companies. So I have a combination, but I will encourage anyone watching this that a lot of times, and you'll see this at the 2-day workshop, people think, "Oh, I'm gonna hire people virtually because they think it's cheaper and easier." It's not easier. It's the complete opposite of easier because you have to have tighter management systems, tighter quality control. And you might think it's easier because you're improperly managing the person. And it's the reality is I know people think it's cheaper, but if they're not getting the opportunities landed that someone in-house with better communication, culture, energy, camaraderie, all that has, then it's worth probably 20 to 30,000 more a month to bring them in the office with the speed of communication. And so I'm just a big advocate for it. The when COVID hit and we started interviewing people, a lot of people were telling us in interviews like, I'm getting lonely at home, it's impacting my mental health, like all the stuff. And if you think about it on an acquisition side, these guys are talking to ultra distressed people all day. So I think you visited the office, like, when they get off a call of someone cussing them out, they just turn to their buddy and laugh and turn a joke. But if you're at
Yeah,
home staring at a wall, it's not as fun to be getting cussed out.
yeah,
So I think that ultimately I like the mix model. I think too, as you grow, the speed of communication is critical with your core decision makers in the company. So it doesn't take a very big office. You can get a WeWork space. It doesn't matter. I just think that when you have your core decision makers in an office, you'll get things done a lot faster speed.
yep, yeah. I agree. I agree.
Um, so so you've been in the group now for what, 6 months or 6 weeks?
Yep,
7 weeks?
6 weeks.
Yeah,
Yep.
6 weeks. So what's your focus over the next 4 weeks? Where are you at in the journey with that?
So focus in the next 4 weeks are getting an executive admin in place. So working with investor VAs for that. Um, we're getting that in place, um, and then getting my acquisition rep fully trained up. So he's been in um, the program. I think I onboarded him. I think the first day or two I got back, we went through the entire thing, and so working on getting the sales stuff down for him, and me and John, we mapped out our numbers. We're working on getting another lead source in there, which is cold calling, and ramping up, honestly, my marketing budget. Because before I wasn't really spending too much on marketing. And so it was great to hear from John, hey, if you spend X amount of money here, you should be getting X amount of leads. X amount of leads should lead to X amount of deals. And we implemented pretty much everything that you guys um, mentioned for paid per lead and SMS, and we saw it almost to a T. It be true, which was awesome to see. So ramping that up, and then yeah, just hitting all of our quarter 2 numbers is our main
Awesome. And
thing.
how long had you been doing the paper lead?
About since the start of quarter 2, so the start of April.
Okay. And have you guys gotten some deals from it?
Yep, we have one closing tomorrow and another one we got locked up last week.
Nice. I'm just curious, what's the average like bid price in your area?
It ranges from it changes in the month a lot. So it's
Yeah.
typically around 200 and then I'll go up to 300. Right now it's back to 200, but it fluctuates between 200 and 300.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, we 17% of my deals since January 1 are coming from paper lead.
Wow.
I'd have to actually go look at the revenue. I bet the revenue percentage is actually much higher of like the overall revenue.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, we actually paused ringless voicemail recently, and we're taking all that budget, putting it towards paper lead, and then we're even considering even lowering some of our cold call spend to put towards that, just because it takes a lot less leads to get a deal. They're a
Yep.
lot more motivated. It's just an easier transaction to get done than going through 50 leads to get a deal, essentially.
Exactly. And the conversion
So,
cycle is so much faster.
oh
That
yeah, so much
that
faster. Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that we're seeing. Even one lead came in, I think this was the other week, and from it coming in on a Thursday, we went got it under contract Friday. So it was from it coming in to it going under contract was one day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that is probably my favorite channel. Direct mail's crushing it for us, so I highly encourage you look into that.
Yep.
Um, the lights keep going off in this conference room. Direct mail and paper lead are just like crushing it for us right now. So anyone watching this, if you guys are like questioning whether you should do an inbound channel, I would say I think it's like I just looked at the percentage. 50, it was either 52 or 58% of my deal flow is coming from inbound. Um, so and direct mail need to sell my house faster, making up the majority of it.
Yep.
Well, awesome, man. I'm super proud of you for taking the action you have.
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
love it when I go to the coaches huddles every week, and they always tell me who's taking action and who's not. So
Thank you.
you're on the
Appreciate
action
it.
taking list.
Yeah.
But
Good.
thanks for jumping on here. I think anyone watching this, like I just encourage you guys, if you've already been in the virtual group, please reach out about the 2-day workshop. I don't like it when people just jump into the 6-month program. I like it when you come to the 2-day first because I want you to be bought in. Like it's no different than the fourth interview of my recruiting process, right? It's like I know you're a candidate, but I want you to be believing in us just as much as we believe in you. And ultimately I think the 2-day workshop is game changing for anyone, regardless if you join the big program. The just the ability to see how to properly onboard someone, properly recruit them, put them in the right seat and manage them the right way has been a big pain point for most people in the industry that are building teams, especially if you don't know what you don't know and you haven't managed many people in the past. So, anyways, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're probably extremely busy, and thanks for taking time out of your day to join us today.
Yeah. Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks.